Hey everyone, how y'all doing today? So in my last video, I took the hard drive that was in this case and moved it to a newer case without the fan. So in this video, I'm going to do some tearing apart to see what's really going on as far as that noise. I really think it's the fan because when I changed over the hard drives weren't making that noise again, as you can see in that video. But this one is the one that was making all that ruckus every time you turn it on. So let's pop this baby open. Okay, like I said, let's get inside this thing and see what's really going on. Maybe I can just disable the fans and still use it, because I'm not using it in an environment where I need the fan running anyway. This place is well temperature controlled, so it's not like it's extremely hot or extremely cold. So if I disable the fan in this case and I can still get it to work without the fan, then I might just do that. Or maybe it's something simple enough to where I can just fix it. But I really wanted to go fanless anyway on that case because it's more silent, and my little setup, has all silence enclosure except this one right here. So I probably could use this one somewhere else, maybe at work or something like that. So we're gonna do some precision digging here to see what's really going on, if we can get into this case. Maybe I gotta take off some more screws. There's some more screws on the bottom. Let's take these off and see what happens. I try to put the screws that I take off on anything that I take apart in a group that I know where they come from, so I can put it back together. Normally all the screws are about the same size, but sometimes they're a little different. Okay, let's see what's going on here. I can push it. Okay, so something is preventing this bottom piece to move out. So let's try to unloosen some more screws and see what happens. Not to worry about the damage. I mean, if I break it, honestly, I'm not gonna cry over it. I really don't want to damage it, because if I can fix it, then it would be great. These rubber feet's got some screws inside of here. Take those off. If anything, I can glue those back in there. Really, I started doing this when I was real young. I used to pull apart my remote control cars and stuff like that, put all the pieces aside, and then put the pieces back together. It was a skill I developed from real young. I just know how to rip things apart and put them back together, just like the way they were. So I'm not too scared about getting in and getting my hands dirty, if you know what I mean. Because I know this thing comes off somehow. The mystery is how. They had to put it together. So if it got assembled, there's got to be a way of disassemble. And I think I found the secret to it. This whole panel on the bottom is attached to the back. So that's the reason why it didn't want to budge when I wanted it to budge. Okay, so something else is holding it in place here. Okay. What is the hole up here? I can see the fan. Can't get inside of there. I think I'm just gonna slice the fan cable because I can see it down there. It's plugged in. Maybe I can just pop it out of its socket. So that's the cable right there that's going to the fan. This right here. So now that I got it undone, I'm not even gonna worry about trying to get this thing all the way out. My main goal was to disable the fan anyway. So what I'm gonna do now is just put this thing back together since I got the fan unplugged from the power source. So this case still works, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. The drive still show up on the desktop every time I turn it on. My only drawback is all that whining noise. And I should have thought about this earlier before I actually purchased that other case. But it's all good because I needed another case anyway because I have a lot of spare hard drive. I'm trying to put them in Enclosure and use them as an external drive anyway. So the fact that I got a new one is not really a big deal because like I said, I needed another case anyway. And I just realized that, you know, I'm just gonna go fanless. And that's why I recommend you get a fanless case. Now you might find some good cases out there that has fan in them and they work pretty well. Who knows, sooner or later that fan might fail too. Moving parts always fail faster than parts that don't move. Okay, so these feet go back in here. They're not gonna hold. I gotta get some glue to put them back in place properly, but they'll hold up for now. So I'm just gonna put this screws back in the back. Now that cable for the fan that I unplug is just hanging in there, and since there's no moving parts now that I disable the fan, that cable is not going to cause any damage. So it's no big deal. Alright, so there you go. I have the case back in order. The feet are going to hold on for a little bit, but I probably still need some glue to actually make them stay permanently. But they should stay in there. But there's the case right there. You know, I'm pretty sure it's gonna work. I gotta find some new hard drives to stick in there, but I know if I power it on, everything is gonna work fine. Okay, so there's the case, reassembled. So me removing the fan out of this case is not gonna really cause any major damage to the hard drive. I mean, it's well ventilated right here. There's vents right here for the heat to disperse. And plus, where the fan was, there's actually holes right here to ventilate. And there's some cracks on the side so the heat can get out. So it's not a tight sealed enclosure. So the heat will get out. And where I'm living, you know, the temperature is controlled. You know, it's not like it's extremely hot or extremely cold. You know, if I'm comfortable, then these hard drives are going to be comfortable too. So I'm probably going to dig up some other hard drives that I have laying around that I've been trying to put in Enclosure and put them in this case. But as you can see now, I'm just going to power it on. You see the blue light comes on right there. And that's telling me that the case is getting power. So I didn't damage the power supply or anything, but you don't hear any noise because that fan is disabled. I mean, you're not going to hear any noise now besides just the hard drive that's actually running in there. You can actually hear them spinning, but not as loud as that brrrr sound that you were hearing in that previous video. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. You'll hear the noise and you'll see what I'm talking about. So if you have a hard drive case like this one made by Aukey, A-U-K-E-Y, it's a 3.5 external hard drive enclosure and it's making that same weird noise like mine was. That's that fan. That's the fan that's causing that issue. Now I don't know why it's doing it, but it just started doing it. So if you want to disable that fan, all you have to do is just take off those 4 screws in the back. There's 4 screws. Then on the bottom, there's 8 screws you want to remove. The first 4 from the back. You don't have to pull the ones in front, just the first 4 from the back. You want to pop the rubber feet out because under the rubber feet, there's actually screws. You want to take those screws out too. So you're going to take off the rubber feet with the screws, and then you're going to take out 1, 2, 3, 4 screws from the back on each side. So you're going to end up taking 8 screws off plus the feet. It's going to make it 12. All right. Then you're going to see that enclosure in the back. You can just slide out a little bit. It's not going to come out all the way, but you'll see the fan cable going straight down into the power supply. So put a little screwdriver in there or a little pliers and pull that cable up. So once you pull that cable up, it's going to unhook the fan, and the fan is going to be disabled, and that noise is going to go away. All right. So that's how you solve that problem. Okay, so that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for taking the time for watching it, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.